Thank you for tuning in. Most importantly, Happy New Year to all of you. We're all hoping for a better year than what 21 was, or maybe not quite as challenging as 21, because some people had a pretty good 21. But anyway, welcome. Let me just go over a couple of things really quickly, and so I can kind of get things turned over to Benson for some and Naomi for some very important district grant qualification stuff that we need to get to this evening, because that's all due the 31st of January. First and foremost, I'm hoping that everybody is or the PEs are working diligently on their pre-pets homework. I was meeting with the AGs earlier, and I had to compliment Conrad because 5 of his 6 PEs have completed all 6 of the coursework. So Conrad's crew in the Waikiki group has done a fantastic job in completing those prerequisites. And many of you heard me say before, I think by doing so, by completing that training, it's going to help you tremendously to be able to hit the ground running whenever 1 July comes around, versus the vertical learning curve and trying to figure out how everything is done in Rotary. Because for me, I had no idea of how much and how many requirements were going to be coming my way, and they were coming in all different directions. So at one point, I know I wasn't very effective because I was just kind of winging things because I just didn't know. And it took me about 6 months until the 1st of January rolled around, where I really figured out what I was supposed to be doing. And I think I got fairly effective by March, and by then you're on that downhill slide, and everything is just fun whenever you hit March, because you've already had the impact for your year. So that just makes that pre-training just so much so very, very important. And I see a lot of folks on here that have also completed all 6 courses. I see Al has completed all the courses, and I think Keisha has, and I'm probably going to miss somebody, so I'm going to get myself in trouble. But I know others have completed the training. And I just think that, it's just going to be so much easier for you when you hit the ground come 1 July. And even before that, you'll already have a good idea, on your goals and what you want to accomplish for the year. And it's just going to be a much more relaxed environment for you. Reminder, you still have plenty of time to order your district shirts. I'll be distributing the district shirts as I come out on my AG PE visits. So my next one is over in Kauai, I think on the 14th of January, with Danny and Ted and their PEs. So get those orders in, and Naomi's been so gracious. She picks them up from Robert, holds on to them, and then I pick them up from her and bring them out to the PE AG meetings, just because it's convenient and kind of gives us an informal way to kind of distribute the shirts and kind of celebrate the shirts and what our year is going to be all about. I haven't checked yet, and I probably should, but I assume everyone has did their elections in December, so you already know who your board and your PE and all of that's going to be for next year. If you haven't done that, you really need to make that a priority, because that will interfere with everything else you're doing. If you don't have that board set, you don't have that PE or even the PN identified, it's going to distract from what you're doing. So if you haven't done those elections, try and get them done as soon as possible. For pre-pets, we had to move that from the 12th of February to the 19th of February, which is the week before we all head out to LA for pets. But I had to make that change because Rotary International changed their assembly date. Actually, they had changed their assembly from an in-person assembly to a virtual assembly. And then they just selected, instead of keeping it with the dates that they already had set for the in-person, they changed it to a week or two later, which affected my calendar, which affects your calendar. So we'll do pre-pets on the 19th. If that impacts any of you and you can't make it on the 19th, just let me know. Because I know it's really a last minute kind of change that we're having to go through. If you haven't already gotten your airline tickets, procrastination kind of paid off a little bit. Found out today that they have $100 one-way fares to the West Coast. So you can save a little bit of money if you haven't made those airline reservations. Which really is a substantial savings because just last week we had folks that hadn't made their reservations yet, and the same airfare was over $350. So this is quite a savings if you haven't already made your airline reservations. And with that, that's I think all the updates that I have for you right now. If anybody has any questions, reference what's going on over the next 2 months, feel free to send me an email or you can ask me right now.
Sorry, I had a question.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Randy. Since RI decided to make the International Assembly completely virtual, has there been any discussion yet about maybe them forcing us not to go to LA for our pets?
We've done some checking on that. That's an excellent question. And right now, the position from Southwest Pets, unless the government shuts down those kinds of meetings, they plan to push ahead with it because they do not have a virtual option. So they're kind of forced into continuing on with the in-person pets. Now, if the government shuts them down, then we're going to have to scramble like crazy on what we're going to do to get everybody qualified. RI will understand it and probably provide some flexibility on how we do that and whether or not we stand up our own virtual pets here in Hawaii, which we are for those that are concerned about traveling. We're gonna do that. I think we've got that scheduled for the 12th of March. But I can tell you, I'm not really in favor of the International Assembly going virtual, but I understand it and accept it for what it is, because you just don't get out of a virtual pets that than you would from an in-person. But I understand folks that cannot do the in-person, and that's perfectly okay. We'll deal with that and try and make it the absolute best that we can possibly do. But the interaction and with the presidents throughout the West Coast and then going east as far as Texas and all those districts and stuff, but just it makes for a tremendous opportunity to learn from others. So, anybody else has any questions? Chemo Jim.
Hey, Randy. Happy New Year, everyone. Good to be here. Hey, I have on my calendar pre-pets on the 12th, and you're saying 14th. The pre-pets 12th is a Saturday. 14th is like a Monday. Yeah, Randy? Is that right?
If I said the 14th, that was a mistake. It's on the 19th. It's going to move to the 19th.
You're slippery, Randy. We got to follow you. You change dates like crazy here. So
no one hates to change dates more than I do. If I said the
okay.
14th, I apologize, because it is, we're looking to do it on the 19th.
Maybe I wrote the wrong number. Hey, Randy, could you just for us new guys here try to understand what is pre-pets? Because you got us at pre-pets homework, and you got us now pre-pets on what 19th, which is a Saturday. Could you just give us a summary of what that is, please?
Well, for the pre-pets on Saturday, the 19th, we're going to go over in detail what's going to happen at pets, for one thing. And then if there is training and stuff that you've missed during these last few months up to pre-pets, we're going to focus on some of that. So, but a lot of it is in preparation for you to get the most out of pets that you can possibly get out of pets. What the whole routine is, and what each one of the districts are going to be doing there, and what our role will be, and when everybody's arriving, and how we're going to take care of folks, and all of that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jim. And means Jim was on, early bird gets the worm, and or me, if you're wanting me to do your installation. Jim's already locked in the 2nd of July for me to come over to, and he's going to do his installation on the beach, Spencer Beach. Is it
Spencer
Kimo?
Beach, Randy? Yeah. Bring your beach attire. Yeah, it's going to be, awesome out there.
Yeah.
So,
going to be kind of unique, and a great way to kick off the year. So, if you do want me to do your installation, let me know earlier than later, so I can chalk it into my calendar and make a point to be there.
Thank you, Randy.
Sorry, Randy, is the pre-training, the 6 classes, somehow I'm blanking on that. I feel kind of embarrassed. Is that on the Rotary website? Is that how we access that?
I believe it should be on the D5000 website, correct, Naomi? The link to the training.
The link is on, but the 6 courses are on the Rotary International website. It's in the Learning Center. So the link to the Learning Center is on the website, but if you just go to Rotary International and just go to Learning, you can get to there. So Jamie, you had a problem getting in today to the Learning Center?
Yes, from the D5000 site. When I clicked on click here, it says forbidden. I don't have access.
Okay, so it could be that you're using Chrome. The Rotary International, they sometimes don't like the Chrome. So try and use Microsoft Edge or Safari, some other browser. But the 6 courses are listed on the district website in the officer and officer resource page, and there's president-elect page. And so the 6 courses, and it's broken down 2 courses each topic, and the topics are public image, foundation, and membership. Okay, so if anybody has problems, just let us know and we'll help you. We'll walk you through that to get there. But wanted to add a little bit more about pre-pets. So pre-pets is a little on, well, it's a lot on what the district is going to do. So it's the district plan on youth service or foundation or membership, and it's what the plan is for the year. We'll go over the calendar for the year, We'll help you with some of the budget items that you need, but it's all on what you need to prepare for the district. Okay, and then at PETS, it's going to be more on how you can put your content, your foundation membership, public image content that you learn into play. And so there'll be sessions on how to make an impact on projects, how to expand your reach with social media. So those are the bigger picture on what you need to do as president. Okay, but the pre-PETS is just the planning part from the district. So we won't duplicate the content in the pre-PETS. So all of the learning center things you should get under your belt, so you at least have that good foundation on the Rotary Foundation membership and public image. So Benson, should I go into foundation right now?
Yes, that would be good.
Okay.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to make sure that you have all of that foundation under your belt, so that you, when we talk about expanding your reach or impact, you kind of already know what they're talking about. And we will at pre-PETS go over the action plan and the 4 priorities. So when we cover that at PETS, you'll know what it is. And so what we've been doing the last couple of meetings was to do a quick overview of what you studied. So the November study was on the foundation. So I'm going to take a real quick tour of the foundation committee foundation basics, and that was covered, and then we can talk about any questions that you have regarding foundation. So let me go through some real quick foundation things. Okay, so this is from the Learning Center courses. So there's the foundation. And of course, you know, the mission of the foundation is to help Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace, right? And you have the 7 focus areas. Okay, so the foundation, it's the arm that does the projects and collects the money. Okay, and then the money, it comes from Rotarians, other grants, other partners that we have. And then the foundation uses that money to end polio or fund projects and grants. Okay, so that's what they do. And then the foundation, of course, you've heard that we've gotten the 14th consecutive year of the highest rating from Charity Navigator. So you know that when we use that money that's donated, it's put to good use, and we are properly managing that money. And that's why we have these rules when you have come to grants that we need to follow, because we need to make sure that the money is used properly and not misused. So supporting the foundation, you have 3 funds. So it's the Polio Plus Fund, the Annual Fund, and the Endowment Fund. Those are the 3 funds that when you give, you are putting your money into these 3 pockets. Okay, so the grants comes from this money that you give. So you have the district grants, which are small scale. They're, that's short term, not shirt term. See, I'm thinking shirts, Randy. All day I'm thinking shirts, because I deliver shirts to Conrad, because Conrad's going to deliver shirts to his people. Okay, so they're local community needs, and sometimes you can give them for foreign needs. Put like a country in Maui, they gave some of their district grant money to Uganda for their stove. So you can't do that without going to the global grants. Global grants are minimum budget 30,000, and they're bigger projects that are around the focus areas, whereas the district grants, it should be around the focus areas, but it not necessarily has to. Programs of scale are like $2 million from the World Fund. So these are big grants. So they did the first one, and that was to get rid of malaria. Okay, and then they have the disaster grants, and those are 25,000. So these are the types of grants that come from the foundation money. So Dave Mostrin can talk to you all about Annual Fund, but the Annual Fund share, right, Dave, share, that's the money that when you donate to this Annual Fund share, that comes back to your club in form of grants, district grants, and global grants. So the money goes in, is invested for 3 years, and then we take an average and we give you back half of that. So half goes to the World Fund, half goes to DDF, which is District Designated Funds. If you have been around a long time, you might know it as DSG, District Simplified Grants, but we don't have that anymore. It's District Designated, DDF. Okay, so DDF goes to the district grants and the global grants. Okay, so that money is being used by the foundation to fund grants. So the global grants last year, if you look at this this pie chart, you can see how much money has gone through the foundation to support education or economies or fighting disease, so that you can see the Polio Plus is the heaviest hitter right here. Okay, you don't see environment because environment doesn't start until this year. Okay, so the endowment fund is where people put that into a fund, and we only use the earnings from that. And so we still need money in the endowment fund so that we can get more money for grants. So when you look at the grant funds to your club, okay, we take 3 years of giving and we average it out, okay, and then you get your money back. And we have a big matrix. There's part of it that's no match, meaning you can use that amount of money for your district grant. Okay, and you don't have to match it with club cash. Then the match portion, you can get that money if you put club cash into that pot, and then that amount is what you get. And global grants you match with the club cash. Okay, so no match means you can just use it for your district, your local project. The match portion is what you need to put in club cash in order to get that money. Okay, so that's when you do this calculation, then you can find out how much money you're going to get for grants. Now, we haven't divided the funds yet. We're going to be doing that in February, and hopefully we'll get that spreadsheet out to you at either Pre-Pets or Pets so that you know how much money you're going to get. So the timeline is qualify for grants by January 31st, and I'll cover what you need to submit. Then you have May 31st is where your final grant report is done. That's the current president, current foundation chair needs to put their final grant report in by May 31st, but you cannot get your money for your grant PEs unless they finish their final report in time. This year, we're asking you to do your application by June 15th. We want it in June so that we can submit it in July so that you can get your grant money earlier to do your projects. Okay, so I'll cover that a little bit. Let me finish up with foundation. We have alumni or alums are anybody who went through these programs, ambassadorial scholar, group study exchange, RILA, Interact, Rotaract. Those are all people who have gone through that program, are all alums. And the money from foundation supports our peace centers, and we have peace scholarships. Peace Fellows scholarships, 130 are awarded each year, 50 in the master's program, 80 in the fellows 1-year professional certificate program. Okay, so those are fully funded. So that application process is going to start in February, and then the people are selected in June and July. Okay, so the individual recognitions for foundation giving. Okay, so when you hear these buzzwords, this is what it means. If you're a sustaining member, it means that you gave $100 per year to the annual fund. Okay, a benefactor is if you are pledging $1,000 or more to the endowment fund. A Paul Harris Fellow is when someone reaches over time $1,000 to the annual fund in Polio Plus, you get a pin and you become a fellow. A multiple fellow is every $1,000 in giving to the Rotary Foundation, you get a new pin and you reach another level. Paul Harris Society member is when you give $1,000 or more annually, okay, to the annual fund Polio Plus or an approved foundation grant. Okay, and then you've got the major donor. I should put this in order. Yeah, major donor is when you reach $10,000 in cash given to the foundation. Arch Clump is when you have $250,000 to the foundation. And then you have the legacy, which is $1 million as a pledge to the endowment fund. And then we have that new Polio Plus Society, when you're pledging to contribute $100 annually to the Polio Plus, the Polio Plus Fund until polio is eradicated. Okay, so the other course that you took, or if you didn't take it, it's going to be on the club foundation committee's role. Okay, so this is what the committee does. Okay, so you're not doing it unless you're on the committee, but you should have a club foundation chair and a committee. So that committee will be promoting grant activities. They inspire members to give, they do the training, they conduct the programs in the club, and they work with the project chairs to make sure everything is done correctly. So the responsibilities are pretty specific. And when you go through that training for the club committee, foundation committee, these are the responsibility of that committee. Okay, so the committee, whoever's doing the projects, needs to keep a folder of 5 years worth of information for grants. Okay, so all of you should be asking, where is that folder with all of the 5 years of the applications, the forms that you need to sign, and all of the receipts and the documentation? That should be in that folder. Okay, so let me stop sharing. Okay, so to qualify, if you haven't yet, there are 3 forms that you need to sign. Okay, it's the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, the addendum, which changes a little bit of the MOU, and then the financial plan. So those 3 documents were sent out to you. You are signing that with your PN. So the president after you and you will be signing those 3 documents. Then you send it, you're going to email it to grants@rotaryd5000.org. Okay, so if you don't have that, you can't find those 3 documents, they are on the district website under foundation and then grants, district grants. Okay, so please get those signed, email it in. And then the last thing we need for you to be qualified, well, the last 2 things, we need your tax return for June 30, 2021. Okay, so ask for a copy of that confirmation from your treasurer. And then we need everyone to have had the 2 people go to training. Okay, and then you'll be qualified until May 31st. That's when the final grant report is due. Okay, so that was a lot of information, but what we need you to do this month is make sure you get those 3 documents signed, get it into grants at Rotary D5000, and put them into your folder. Okay, then in June, we'll be giving you the application to work on. You work with your board on figuring out what projects you want to do with your grant money. Okay, and then we want that application to come in June so that we can get the money out to you in July or early August. Okay. I know, questions?
Naomi,
Yes.
if those people if the clubs don't have a president nominee, so right now the president-elect will be signing that form, correct?
Correct.
And then the president nominee, which will be the president-elect, will be the second signature. So if they don't have that person on the roster yet, what should they do?
Then the current president, the sitting president, will sign.
Okay, thank you.
So if the current president and the PE is the same person, then you can get the foundation person to sign. But it shouldn't be the same person signing in 2 places. Okay, so we will put this information into a form and email it to you. We do have this on the district website as well under the foundation tab. Okay, so did everybody get the 3 documents, the blank documents that you need to sign? Okay, good. Okay, other questions?
I think Susan's got a question. There she goes.
Who sent the documents? I don't recall receiving them. Who would they have come from? So I can look for them.
Well, I sent them on behalf of Randy, but you know what? It may have gone to Ron. So Susie, we'll get them to you too.
Okay, thank you. Ron's good too, but yeah, I'd like them.
There was a question about your application. If you're signing that application in June, okay, should you have to confer with the president now? So because the application is for grant in your year, you take the lead on that. Okay, but you should be working with your board to come up with the projects that money will fund. Okay, any other questions?
Good job, Naomi.
Thank you. Okay, back
Good
to you.
job, Naomi. Good
Back to you,
job.
Benson.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All right. Okay, so we're gonna do a little breakout exercise. So everybody's gonna have to turn their camera on. But let me tell you a quick little story that's gonna set you up for what you're gonna do in your breakout. So 4 years ago, actually today, which was the 3rd of January, 2018, I started kind of going over my calendar for the coming year, you know, what kind of trips I'm going to take, what am I going to do this year, da, 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 da. And it dawned on me that on July 1st, 2018, I was going to become president of my club. Now, I didn't realize, of course, at that time that that was going to be a 2-year stint, but oh well, that's just how it goes. So for briefly, maybe about 60 seconds, I had this moment of terror, like what did I agree to do, and am I really prepared to assume the office of presidency for my club? So the breakout room assignment tonight, because everybody in this meeting tonight is either going to be a club president or you've already been one, is to go back to that moment of terror in your escalation to the presidency of your club. And I want you to share with each other in your group, there's only going to be about 5 people in each group, the one thing that you were most worried about in January, thinking about that you were going to be president in July. What was that one thing? Was it, do I know how to run a meeting? Do I know anything about Rotary? Da, 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 da. Figure out what that is. We're going to come back, we're going to share those things. And then I'm going to tell you what's going to be ahead as far as getting everybody in line to transition so all of that terror can be handled. Okay, is that really clear? What's the one thing as you were approaching the presidency of your club that most concerned you or concerned you the most about becoming president of your club? Maybe another way to ask it is like, where did you feel the most unprepared? However you want to take it. So we're going to come back, we're going to share those. I'm going to give you about 6 minutes, so you're going to have to talk fast. Any questions? Good. You guys are a sharp group. And so you should be seeing an invitation to a room on your screen right now. And I think it's working because people are disappearing. Okay, we'll see you guys in about 6 minutes. Okay, good. Okay, you guys can stay here if you want, because I know maybe you've already done this, but. Stop. Alrighty. All right. It's really cool. Everybody just comes back all at one time. You know, it's kind of like Star Wars or something.
Do we
Okay.
have a choice?
Yeah, that was a good one.
And are you muted?
I don't think so. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
No, we
okay?
can't hear you, not one bit.
Yeah, okay, nice job. I think it's that thing. So let me tell you a story. This is why you guys are doing this. So when I was in 4th grade, I had a teacher who had a hearing aid, right? And it was in the 60s, so it was on one of those with the battery, and she had it in her pocket and it had a wire that went up into her ear. So of course I'd go up there and I go, and then she'd be going like this. So, you know, that's why I'm the person I am today, because I did terrible things like that as a 4th grader. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Okay. So, yeah, I know. I apologize for that profusely, but I know when I get up there, I'm going to get judged for that thing.
Wait till
Okay.
you have a hearing aid.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we're going to kind of go through some of these. What I'm hoping is that every group will have a spokesman. I have the group list here. And I think those of us who have been in district a while, our AGs, our district governors, our past district governors, whatever, this information that's going to be said here in the next few minutes is super important, because this is going to give us sort of an idea of what we need to do in the next 6 months that's going to help to allay or resolve some of these fears. So Arlene, I'm going to start with your group as group 1. So as Arlene, Lee, Lila, and Wendy.
Can I defer to Lila, since I think you were.
Okay,
taking notes,
Lila. Lila, it's so good to defer to. I love
yeah? I did take notes.
Good.
So the 2 new president-elects are fairly Malahini in Rotary, and so they're excited.
Yes.
What we would like to suggest, and Arlene being an assistant governor already, and for next year, nodded in agreement, is that we would really like the assistant governors to send us emails, number 1, with the Zoom link to our sessions, because especially as women, you know, we do triple tasking and we put Zoom links everywhere. So it would be really helpful. My assistant governor, Conrad, you're the bomb. He sent us an email today about the link. He also sent us an email about picking up the shirts in the same email. And the message also was about the learning center. What we would really appreciate from the assistant governors is to have a list, a specific email with a list of the courses we have to take, because to navigate through Rotary.org for some of you is really easy. For some of us, it's a little more challenging because there's so much information. So if we could have a specific email with the 6 courses and the link to the Learning Center, so that we can check it off when we are finished, and we also can navigate more easily. The 2 other, the Wendy and Lee, are excited about being presidents. My anxiety is the financial part, but fortunately our soon-to-be past president is a recovering banker, and so she has that all covered. What I found as president-elect is to work with the past, the present, and the future presidents is really awesome. I don't feel so alone. And the president-elect nominee doesn't feel so anxious about coming in, because I think there is this perception that this is just this huge monolith that we don't, you know, that we have to learn so much about alone, and we don't have to do it alone. So assistant governors, and then the request from the assistant governor is that PEs please respond. Even if it's just an email that says, thank you, got it. Just that back and forth, right, Arlene? That was part of the angst. Okay,
Good
So,
one.
thank
Good
you.
one. Good one. Good one. Awesome. Okay, Dave, I see you smiling, Dave Mosman. So your group's up next. So group 2 is Dave, Randy, Doug, and Paula. Go ahead, Dave. Or whoever's going to speak for your.
You're muted, Dave.
Dave, you're muted for real.
Yeah, I got it now.
Yeah. Okay.
So Paula was the only president-elect in our group, and we had a bunch of 3 people that were authorities in their area of none. And we all tried to bestow our energy and wisdom to her, but she said probably the wisest thing in the group was that I know I'm new in Rotary, but they asked me to be president for a reason, and I think that kind of gave her that feeling of confidence that she could do it, even though she is a little scared, but she knows she's got the people behind her that can help her get this done. So we gave her our little bit of wisdom, but I think you're in the right path of having a great year. So with Paula, anything you want to add?
No, that was perfect. Yeah, that was pretty much it. And I think I talked a little bit too about my 2 or 3 years in Rotary. You know, it was mainly during the time of COVID. So it is going to be a little scary to transition, you know, from most of hybrid meetings and stuff to back into in person. And I just want to make sure that I am doing it the right way, even though I haven't really seen it, you know, so it is a little nervous to go back to the traditional way when I haven't really like experienced it much.
Yes.
But,
And Randy said a great thing about the fact that, you know, it's your year and no one's going to fire you. So do what you feel is right.
Okay. Any other words of wisdom? Because I look at the 3 of you guys and I could just imagine the words of wisdom that are coming out from you, Doug, and Randy. So anything that we can repeat in a mixed audience?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So group 3 was Danny, Jerry, Jamie. Wow, sounds like my family. Danny, Jerry, Jamie, Conrad, and Naomi. Okay. Anything come out of that? Anything you want to share with the group? Who's going to be the spokesman?
Well, Jerry was our PE, so Jerry can speak. But before Jerry speaks, I wanted to tell Paula that you've got some great people in your club. And what we talked about in our group was if you have good anchors in your club, you rely on them and it's not as hard because your club trainer, your past presidents, they all help you. And we're going to have training for the incoming boards. And you want to get it to a place where the club is kind of running itself because everybody knows how to paddle the boat. And so, Jerry, you want to add to that?
I think you covered everything in terms of having the anchors and just choosing the right board. I think because for me being on the board the last 2 years and joining Rotary in the last 2 years, I sort of seen some people on the board, you know, not sort of doing their part, you know, so it becomes sort of a steady ship to add to that. So Naomi and everybody gave some good advice on that. And I think that's all I wrote down.
Okay, Jerry, that was really great. Thanks. Okay, Anne Marie, you have your hand up. You got a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Benson.
Go for
I
it.
just wanted to ask quickly, you know, the past 2 years, we've had all these online meetings and trainings, and I really appreciate and enjoy them with you and Naomi and everyone at District. And I feel that's really supported my journey as PE these past 2 years and president this year. Is it going to continue? Are we going to continue like this, even if we move to in person, you think? Because I think this is so valuable. And I don't want it to stop. I don't know what you guys did before, but you know, I think it's great because I get to meet with other presidents and hear, you know, from you, from the experienced people too, and not just my little club.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. And my guess, and I'll let Sandy and Randy and even Naomi speak to this, but having the pandemic show up and having to take a lot of stuff online has really been actually one of the greatest things that's ever happened to Rotary. Because there's no way, think about it, there's no way we could have a statewide meeting on a Monday night at 6 o'clock, you know, and have 35 people show up. Just not going to happen. So I'm sure that that some aspects of it will continue. I'm sure that once we start coming back to normal, we'll do our get-togethers in person. But I don't know, Sandy, Randy, you want to respond to that? What's your thought going forward?
Well, you know, I'll just say that you know, I think Anne Marie is spot on. That you know, for you have to have a continuity plan, and thanks to Naomi and Benson, you know, we have that. There are some things, because I'm not a super fan of Zoom and virtual stuff, but there are some things, and training is one of them. And if you had an inner looking at my budget and stuff, was that I totally changed the way that even the planning it a year or two ago, completely changed the thought process on how we would do things to leverage virtual for training, but the in-person piece is very, very important. But as Benjamin mentioned, you know, even for any of our training, you know, we have never gotten 35, 40 people together, you know, on a continuous basis. And we have the District Leadership Academy that is growing, you know, the future leaders of District 5000 and stuff. So I'm just a huge proponent on it. And it did really take buy-in for the whole DG line in order to make it work, because if it's one and done, and I've seen that, you know, in other districts and stuff, yeah, and it really is ineffective if it's just one and done. But you put in a tremendous amount of effort, because Benson and Naomi have put in a tremendous amount of effort in making this work. So I tip my hat to both of them. So thanks, you two.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that, Randy. Sandy, you want to make a comment about that?
No, I just want to echo what Randy has said. And you know what, this really is an opportunity for us to take advantage. The technology that we're using now, the way we can bring people together, not just across our district, but even from around the world. But just hopefully we can sprinkle in more in-person meetings as time goes on. So it's just not the only way we're able to get together.
Thanks, Sandy. So, hey, I want to move along as we're sort of running short on time here. So group 4 was Al, Ali, Sharon, Sue-Ann, and Ted. So who's going to speak for group 4? Anybody? Al, Ali, Sharon?
Well,
okay.
I guess I'll.
Okay, Al.
There were 3 of us there.
Yeah.
And 2 of the 3 of us are very new to Rotary, and so we were discussing our terrors. And when I'm president now, but when I was PE last year, the current president, who I thought was going to be my mentor, said he was going to leave the island and move back to the mainland. The past president before that said she was going to take a year sabbatical. And we lost about a third of our membership from people moving back to the mainland. And I thought, I'm all alone. Be awful, but I did get plenty of support, particularly from Marco, the AG. And so we talked about how do we avoid burnout and worrying so much that you're not doing everything and dotting every I and crossing every T, that in fact you lose sight of the important parts of the Rotary experience and what we're trying to do for our membership and for the rest of the our community. And we decided that trying to avoid burnout was actually a very valuable thing to spend some time on. And so we talked about that.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Al. Okay, Keisha, how about your group? You want to speak for them? Group 5? Go for it.
We had a discussion that, and I'll be very brief, we dealt with egos, information overload, and the fear of not having a PE. So it's tough.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, hey, those are all legit, man, and those are
Very
things
legit.
that we want to try to address in the training that we do. So, okay, we'll take that. So Anne Marie, the next group is your group, group 6. So, do you want somebody to speak for them or for your group, or do you want to do it? Was Anne Marie, Kathleen, Mariko? Mariko, you could speak for them if you want. Or Anne Marie, I see you unmuted yourself, so you're getting ready.
Oh, I was going to volunteer Jen.
Oh, okay, well, very good. That's great. Hey, gang, that's delegation. Did you see that? I was going to volunteer somebody else. So go for it.
Okay, so there was only one PE in our group, so that's me. And what I spoke about was being scared that I'm gonna like run out of time to do things, and just like work-life balance and making sure that I'm still being able to do like my Rotary position correctly without like, I guess, burning out as well. And then something else that we spoke about was transitioning to in-person, since most of us are, well, not most, some people have started in Rotary like mostly online, and now we're transitioning to back in person.
Okay, totally legit. All right, last group, Chemo, that's your group. What did you guys talk about?
Benny, you calling on me?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Oh, awesome. Well, you know, I mentioned, I think, and I would echo that among the group, that time management was a big issue. And so, and I just want to say that what I talked about, and I'm a longtime Rotarian, so I'm, you know, full of knowledge and full of, you know, a lot of that other stuff too. But the reality is that it's almost like scheduling some time to just kind of do the things that you need to catch up, and don't let your PE responsibilities be something that you know, you're just going to just, well, I'll get to that on Tuesday. Well, no. Okay, I'm a little busy Tuesday. Well, let me do it on Wednesday. Oh, well, no. Okay, now it's Thursday. Oh my gosh, now it's Friday. I'm blown away. You know, schedule it out. You know, Tuesday 11 to 1, Thursday, you know, 3 to 5. Do whatever you need to do to get whatever accomplished that you need to do, because, you know, guess what? When you get on the other side of that, you're going to feel good about, you know, being ready. And I think the worst thing that we can do is, as it's been said here today, is that just, you know, shooting from the hips, just kind of doing things. Oh, I got this. I'll just kind of, you know, I'll wing it, or I'll just kind of do it. And then things don't go the way you expected to go. So schedule the time, do your time management, be prepared, be sort of assertive about, you know, managing the time and energy that you put into it, because, hey, this is a big shot for all of us. And you know, unlike Benson Medina, you don't get called back the second time because he did such a great job the first time. So this might be your only shot. So put your quality time into it, schedule it out, be prepared. And I know this group, based on these Zoom calls and all that, we're going to do an awesome job. So if I missed anything, let me know, team.
Okay, thanks, Kimo. Let me wrap up with just a couple of things, and then I'll turn it over to Naomi for the final remarks. All right, so I came out of college as a classroom teacher, right? And so the 4 years or almost 5 years that I was there was all subject matter, right? They taught me about the stuff that I was going to be teaching, right? But they didn't actually teach me anything about how to talk to kids like 12-year-olds. I had intermediate school, right? How to make a lesson plan. All of those things came later on after all the subject matter. So the stuff that you guys are going through right now, the courses you're taking online, the stuff that you're going to hear at PETS, all subject matter stuff, which is all really important, because if you don't have the subject matter, you can't really be effective. But the other piece that we're going to fold in there after PETS is really all of the classroom management stuff, how to create a meeting, how to schedule a meeting, how to do your calendar, how to work with your board members, all of that. So if you're terrified about those things or afraid or feel unprepared, we're going to address those things as they come up. The continuity piece is really important, and that's why training is really important. So as your club starts to evolve towards doing more training, make sure you have a club trainer in there, because that's your continuity piece in your club that'll help it to roll over year after year after year, and there's consistency within your club. Yeah, we appreciate what Randy and Sandy said about the work that we've done, Naomi and I, in training. But as training goes, I think our district goes, right? So what we found is that Rotarians that are more informed are typically more engaged, more involved, more effective. And so our little district out here in the middle of the Pacific, we probably do more trainings than any other district in our zone. And that's crazy. And I think because we have to, and like I said, as our training goes, our district goes. So I appreciate everybody's time tonight. It's a commitment. We're all a result of the commitments that we make. And so here we are tonight. So with that, I'll turn it over to Naomi, and she can kind of close it before the evening. But thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks, Benson. Everybody, please know that we all, on the district level, we all have open doors. So you need help, you just pick up the phone, you call us, and we are there to support you. That's our role, is to support you. You guys are the ones on the front line. You're more important than we are. So we're here to support you. So one advice that I'd like to give you is take the time now to visit other clubs, go to their Zoom meetings, and see how they run their meetings, see how they interact, see how the process of their meetings, and you can get your own flavor, your own culture for your own club from that. But it's kind of interesting to go visit other clubs. So please feel free to visit other clubs, not only in our district, but you can go to other districts or even around the world on their Zooms.
Okay, great. So when you go to PETS, they're going to tell you this, right? And every PETS, they always say the same thing. The best job in Rotary is club president. The best job in Rotary is club president, and they're correct. And you're going to see why. If you haven't been president, you're going to see why. Because, yeah, it's stressful, whatever, but it's also really fun. And there's no position in Rotary that allows you to engage at that level so deeply. So you're in for a really good ride, and we're going to help you to make a really good ride. Okay, unless anybody has any comments or last song, Doug, you want to take us out with a song, or Stairway to Heaven on the guitar? We can do it from there. Hey, Doug was a guitar player in a rock band when he had long hair. Of course, that was long time ago. So, okay, gang, thanks a lot for coming tonight. We'll post the recording up if you want to watch this again. Okay. See you guys later.
Yeah.
Stop recording. Okay.
Aloha, everyone. Aloha.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Naomi. I'm gonna call
Yeah.
for real.
You bet.
This Sunday.
Thank you. Aloha. See you later.
Hi, everybody.